All right, now
Okay.
to the meat and potatoes of this show.
Well, the best of. It's time to review the best of the places that we went to.
Yeah.
Best, scariest was our most best.
Dog's not here
The
for her
dog's not even
category.
here. It was the dog's favorite place.
I'm Brian,
I'm Natalie.
and we're here discussing our Highway 89 series wrap-up. Kenai is here, keeping guard.
Thanks for joining us today. We're going to wrap up our Highway 89 series.
We're going to start with some statistics.
And then we'll get into the best of.
Highway 89, in our opinion, is probably the best road trip type of road in America. It starts up in Canada and it goes all the way down to Mexico, right through the heart of the Rocky Mountains. So it's a north-south, south-north road. It goes directly through Yellowstone and
Grand Tetons.
I mean, directly through the middle of them. It goes right beside 5 others, and if you go a little bit venture off, you can hit a couple more. But we did a total of 7 national parks, a whole bunch of monuments and state parks, and I mean, it really surprised us at how much there was to do along the road. In fact, the original idea with us doing this was just going to be a 6 to 8 episode series, because what's going to happen between Glacier and Yellowstone? We had to make it into a 15 episode series because there was just so much to see and do.
There was a lot out there, more than we thought. So how did we get this idea of, wow, 89? Who does 89 as a full road trip? And we got that idea because back in 2021, we did a big Southwestern RV tour. And we kept finding ourselves on Highway 89. We're back again on Highway 89 near Grand Canyon and the whole Southwest. And there it was again. And so we got out the map book and we're like, what's up with this 89? And saw that it goes from the Canadian border down to the Mexican border as one full thing. And we're like, oh, that would be great to do all at one time.
Wouldn't that be a great road trip?
Wouldn't that be a great road trip? So in 2024, we said we're doing it.
So we planned this trip easily 6 months in advance, maybe even 8 months in advance.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we planned this trip quite a ways out. We could have gone from the north, or from the south to the north, or the north to the south.
Okay,
there's 2 ways you can hit this. We decided, because the northern national parks, Glacier, they don't open until the end of June.
Maybe the end of June.
Yeah.
Possibly July, depends on the weather, you don't know.
And summertime in the south is incredibly hot. So we kind of looked at the logistics of how to do this road and decided a late summer, early fall transit. Part of what we decided was obviously hit the big rocks. We really worked hard at getting into the national park campgrounds.
Yes.
And Glacier was the hardest one to get into.
By far.
Yellowstone was probably second hardest.
Yeah.
But once we got that Glacier Park campground,
Yes.
it took us over a week of trying at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Campground
Once we got that,
reservations.
then we were able to start working our way south, hoping that we would be able to get into the campgrounds before they started closing in the fall.
Yes.
In the north, and hit the southern campgrounds after all the heat waves and stuff were done.
The heat of the summer.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think it worked out.
The whole thing kind of worked out.
It kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Just at the very end, we got into a heat dome there in Phoenix, and it was back into the 111s and 110s.
On
But that
October
was-
1st. We couldn't have
Yeah.
thought that October 1st it would be 110, 112 in Tucson.
But otherwise, I thought, I thought it worked out pretty good.
It worked out great, actually.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with some statistics. First of all, on the motorhome, we filled up a total of 6 times. Filled up the rig. The amount of money we spent on diesel plus DEF in the motorhome, this does not include the Jeep, but we spent a total of $1,357 on fuel and DEF in the motorhome.
That was a pretty good. Well, it was.
I thought it was going to be more than that.
We drove 1,888 miles.
42
nights.
40. Well, I got 42 nights here.
Okay, 42 nights, 41 days.
Yeah, but 42 nights on the road. Okay, so in those 42 nights, we spent on RV spots altogether $1,578.65 on all of our RV parking. Okay, so
and that includes boondocking. I mean, that includes
that
everything.
includes boondocking, everything. So, you know, of course, that boondocking really helped bring the totals down. So the average spent per night on RV camping, lodging, $37.58.
That's a pretty good average.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Not bad.
That's not bad for trying to do some cheap camping.
Yeah.
And to break that down for you, we spent 24 nights at public campgrounds, 11 nights at private campgrounds, 2 nights at Harvest Hosts, and 5 nights boondocking. There you go. So talk about breaking it down.
Yeah. On purpose, we didn't go to resorts. You know, we didn't do the fancy resort type of places. We really focused in on campgrounds in and around the national parks and along the route.
Right. Right. We stayed inside national parks as much as possible.
Yeah. Okay, that's a pretty good
Statistic, exactly. You put those two together, it's just under $3,000 for
or a month and a half's worth of camping.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
Not including food and
right.
doggy treats and stuff.
Yeah. I don't think that's that bad. I think that worked out.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a little better.
All right, now to the meat and potatoes of this show.
Well, the best of. It's time to review the best of the places that we went to.
Yeah.
In our opinion.
In our opinion. And the puppies, too.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Puppy just liked the whole thing.
Puppy liked everything.
Okay, let's start with our best public campground. Best
public campground.
Yes.
Okay.
In Bear Lake, Utah.
Bear Lake, Utah.
Yes.
Puppy liked it because it was a lake.
Well, she liked the proximity to the lake, of course, was awesome.
Rendezvous Campground is right outside Garden City in Utah on Bear Lake. And it's right on Bear Lake, on the south side of Bear Lake.
Bear Lake had a couple of things. Not only was it right on the water where we could just walk out of our camper, go over to the beach, we're on the water, it was fabulous. Dog loved it too. It's dog friendly as long as they're on a leash. Every day we were there, or every time there was a campsite changeover, the campground hosts had rags and cleaning stuff, and they were cleaning off all the aluminum picnic tables every time there's a changeover, and the place was just so well kept.
Yeah, it was pretty clean.
Yeah, I thought that was so nice, and that just...
It was definitely end of season though. I mean, everybody...
We were there on Labor Day weekend, and so of course that weekend it was crowded, but after that, they were about ready to close for the season.
Yeah, all the jet skis were already parked in a different, you know, on their trailers and taken up. And Garden City was closing, you know, or was...
For the most part.
End of season sales on t-shirts and such.
Yes.
You know, so they were getting ready to get snowed on, and I was explaining earlier was we were really pushing the end of season on these northern latitude campgrounds. So I like Bear Lake too. That was probably our best public campground that we stayed
Since
at.
it was at a state park, Rendezvous State Park
Yep.
in Utah.
Yep. Okay, so next up we have private campground.
Yeah, best private campground was Conestoga in Montana.
Yep, White Sulphur Springs.
In White Sulphur Springs.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got there right as the rain shower or a thundercloud dumped on us, but right after that it was really gorgeous. It was one of the more pretty sunsets we've had.
Well, it had a big Montana sky view. When you talk about big sky, this had the big sky, it had the views, you know, mountains way off in the distance. Great town to walk around in. I happen to like the laundry room. Laundry room was very user-friendly and not that expensive to do some laundry.
Yeah.
It was a good overnight.
Yeah, and we had just come basically from 2 medicines up in Glacier, and this campground was flat as flat could be. So it was really a good campground for big rigs and.
Right, with some hookups for us, that sort of thing.
Yep, and we needed some hookups at that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd gone days without any hookups, so
Yeah.
it was a good spot. Next up is our best Harvest Host campground stay, or overnight stay. Yeah. Okay.
That was in Montana also.
The Big Sky Deli.
Yeah.
Big Sky Deli in Montana, outside of Great Falls, Montana.
Yeah, in Vaughn.
Yes, in Vaughn.
Yeah.
Correct. What did you like about it?
It was clean. It had lots of room in the backyard for big rigs.
Yeah.
The deli was spectacular.
A lot of locals going through that deli, so
Yeah.
you know it's got to be good.
Yeah, a lot of police cars were there. So, I mean, we felt very safe. It was in a convenient spot.
Well, I just had fun walking around the store. They had lots of seasonings and frozen foods. It was just a lot of fun to look around at all the local things they had inside the deli.
Yeah.
So I had fun shopping.
And it's not too far from Great Falls.
No, it was very
Right?
close to Great
so
Falls.
that was really another good thing about it, is we were able to visit Great Falls without actually staying in Great Falls. And
Yes.
that worked out really well too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So location, location, location.
yep. Yep, that was good.
We're in East
We
Texas.
are in East Texas right now.
We've got lots of beautiful trees. They're all leafed out because it's springtime and they're mowing their lawns.
Yep. We thought
So
this
we'll
would be
see.
a good time of day to film.
Yeah.
Next category is Best Boondocking. We chose the boondocking spot near Bryce Canyon National Park, right before you get into the park area. On the left, it's called Tom Springs or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We put eyeballs on this place a month or two before we started this trip.
Yes.
As we had time, and so we did a little Jeep tour.
Scouted it out.
Scouted it out and found a couple spots that were big rig friendly.
Yeah.
And luckily, we were able to use one of those spots. And I thought it was perfect. It was just outside of the park, you know, mile or two down the road.
And it had a
Kept
view. I mean, we were almost out on a cliffside, and you could look down and almost see some eroding hoodoos right from our spot.
Yep. Yep.
It was quiet, not many people out there.
Yep, it worked out really well.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. We had trouble getting camp spots in Bryce, you know, to fit our schedule. And
Yeah.
we ended up having to move the camper twice to two different camp spots inside of the campground inside of Bryce.
Yeah, you could see that in the episode, yeah.
And then we basically relied on this boondock spot for the rest of the stay there.
Yes.
As it turns out, we probably could have not gone to the campground and used this boondock spot.
Probably, but being inside the national park, it was easy to get up early in that morning so you could go on the hike inside.
Yep.
I mean,
That's true.
that's the upside of staying inside the national park, is you can get up and go in early in the morning and see stuff.
Yep. Sunrise hikes.
Yeah. So that was worth it right there. Speaking of hiking, what's the best hike?
It's got to be Buckskin Gulch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Buckskin Gulch was your best hike of the trip.
Yeah, I would say I did four hikes along the journey.
Yeah.
And Buckskin was for sure the coolest, the funnest. It also was the most challenging with all the mud puddles.
Yes.
Right? So it was like, again, we coming in here late in the season, and they must have had a rain.
Yeah, I think it rained a few days before.
A few days before, that just enough to fill in all the low spots with water.
Side note, Buckskin Gulch, you do need to get a permit ahead of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got one
just
months
a side
ahead.
note. Well, yeah, you got one a couple months ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, just note that if you're doing.
And they do check.
Yeah.
There was a ranger there checking everybody that parked in the parking lot.
Yeah. So that's a good side note. But we also, your honorable mention goes to
Oh, well, Jenny Lake.
Jenny Lake.
The Tetons, come on.
Can't go wrong. I mean, you can hike all the way around Jenny Lake, or you can go halfway and take the boat. But either way, Jenny Lake with those mountains,
Yeah.
can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Cannot go wrong.
No doubt.
Yeah.
That was a fun hike too.
Definitely.
the next best category is off-roading.
We picked Skyline Drive
Absolutely.
in Utah. You picked it over Point Sublime.
Point Sublime.
And Schnebly Hill Road
Right.
in Sedona, the classic.
The classic, yeah. We didn't pick Point Sublime, mostly because we'd already done that.
and the road was so bad. I mean,
Well,
if the road was a little better, maybe Point Sublime would have won.
Part of off-roading.
That is part of off-roading. That's true. But finding Skyline Drive to us was just this hidden gem.
Sure, yeah.
Being able to go up there to the top of that plateau and being able to drive that with the views, and it was a beautiful day, which really helped too.
Yeah, we got lucky. We had a storm front pass that night before, and it blew away all the smoke, all the wildfire smoke, and it really was a gorgeous on top of that mountain.
And we hadn't even known it was there.
Yeah, we luckily found a marker on the side of the road, a signboard.
It was a billboard.
A billboard, yeah, saying Skyline Drive. So it was like, what the heck is that?
Yep, looked it up and said, oh, well, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next up.
Next up, we have Best Roadside Attraction.
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
We had a bunch, and I narrowed it down to two. The Tree Stump Water in Utah.
Yeah, yep. The tree
Yes,
stump.
and the Spirit Totem in Arizona.
Doggone it. Those were all finds we found on
Atlas Obscura.
Yep. And doggone it, those were fun finds.
They were so fun. There was a lot of good stuff. I mean, other stuff, the Antler Arch in
Afton,
Wyoming. That was a good one. The Butch Cassidy's Boyhood Home was good. The Quilt Walk in Panguitch. I'm screwing up that name, and I apologize, but that park was great.
Yeah.
Dinosaur Eggs, and back to the Big Sky Deli Harvest Host. That was kind of a fun roadside attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I liked the tree stump. That was really unusual.
And we couldn't believe how many people were there actually getting drinking water out of the tree stump at the little park.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
And then the Spirit Totem, I mean, I had that in the intro from the get-go
Yeah.
because it was so unique.
We knew that
right
was
there beside the road.
We knew that was going to be great, and it was so unusual. And
Yeah.
yeah. And how many times maybe had we passed it and not known it was there right on 89?
Yeah, you could drive right by it, and that's a Atlas Obscura, and you need to be looking. It's hard to see.
It is hard to see. It's not that big.
It's not that big.
But it was fun. It was a fun stop.
Yep.
Okay, next up we have Best Burgers. Best Burgers along 89.
Yeah.
Great category.
I mean, we have to say In-N-Out because that's what we do.
You could have guessed that, I'm sure.
Anything outside of where In-N-Out was, we found that Mark's In-N-Out Burger was pretty fun. Just a fun stop, a fun looking building, good atmosphere, good local atmosphere.
So Mark's located in Livingston, Montana, north of Yellowstone. So Mark's In-N-Out, that was fun too. That was a fun takeout place.
But we went to two places that were closed, and we didn't have a chance to sample.
Which is so sad.
Our sample list is pretty short.
That's true.
Right, because we seem to always find places that were closed on a Tuesday or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then, what was our most fun restaurant? Back to what was our most fun place we went to that maybe not necessarily burgers?
Sure. It had to have been
Zips.
Zips.
In Garden City at Bear Lake, Utah.
Really cool decor. I mean, the use of water skis was excellent.
I applaud, I approve. That was great stuff. And the old boats.
Yeah.
And the food was good.
Food was remarkably
And the food was good too. So Zips at Garden City, thank you. I thought that was great for the crowds going through. I had low expectations and wow, it was good.
Yeah.
Next, our scariest moment that we experienced on the trip. The scariest moment for me was getting our drone stuck in the top of a pine tree.
Getting it out. Getting it
I
stuck
guess
wasn't scary.
It was trying to retrieve said
the darn
drone at
Let
the
me tell
top of
ya.
a pine tree.
It was way up there.
Oh, we spent hours retrieving that. Luckily we have it, but that was kind of scary because we had just gotten this new drone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the scariest moment. The second scariest moment would have been when the Jeep,
Oh, when the pin fell out?
when the pin fell out of the
On our way to
trailering
Yellowstone.
system.
Yeah.
That was kind of scary too.
It was odd. That stuff happens.
But that worked out okay. Yep, stuff happens when you travel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. Okay, we've got one more category, and this is
The dog's not here
the
for her
dog's not even
category.
here. It was the dog's favorite place. What did the dog enjoy the most?
Kenai loves the water. Her favorite water
Her favorite
place?
water place is at Two
Gotta be
Medicine,
yeah.
Medicine Lake in Glacier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Because the views are there.
Just about any
The
lake in
calm
Glacier.
water. Well, that
all the
second
lakes.
place was Bowman Lake on the
We did
west
a
side.
lot of lakes, and she went into a lot of them.
She does, and a lot of rivers too.
Yeah.
Okay, to sum it up, in conclusion, what would you say are the best reasons to do Highway 89?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a great question. For me, it's being able to hit all the national parks. Just because they're all right there along the drive, and I love going to our national parks, north, south. I think they're all great, and I love visiting them over and over again.
Any of them, yeah.
So my favorite parts are just doing all the national parks all the way down.
We did 7 of them
Yeah.
along the route.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's kind of cool about that road.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite was all the little roadside attractions
That was just fun.
that were, I mean, there was so much to see. I mean, there was so much to see, really.
Yes.
There was. You go to all these national parks, well, you call them your big rocks for sure.
Yep.
Right?
That's,
And you
yeah,
make sure
true.
you go and visit them. And so if you're just doing a portion of the route, you make sure that's your biggest rock, right? But all the little stuff, there's so much little stuff. And I would suspect that we missed a few also.
Oh, I'm sure we missed stuff because
Yeah.
now I want to do it again, and we probably
Yeah.
will do it again someday. So what are we going to do next?
This video is coming out just a little bit out of order of where we are in our summertime journey. It's Easter. We wanted to visit Mom, so that's why we're here in Texas. Visit Mom for Easter. We also wanted to do a wrap-up video pretty quick after the Highway 89 series ended, just to kind of get it to be the block at the end of it.
Yep.
But effectively, we've already started our
In a way, yeah, we've already started our summer travels
Yes.
for 2025.
But we've got a whole bunch of getting ready videos in the works. Repaired our slide. We put a new vent in. We put a new radio in.
There's been a lot of work to be
A
done.
lot of things that we had to do kind of here in the early spring, late winter to get the RV ready to go. And so we're going to have a whole bunch of fix them up and getting ready and packing up video. And then we're on the road, so we're recording.
Yep,
We're here in Texas right now for Easter, like I said.
yep.
We're heading to North Carolina to see our son graduate from college. He's gonna walk. And then after that, we're heading to Alaska. And basically the trip is starting from North Carolina.
Yeah, once we leave North Carolina, we're starting to get to our point where we're meeting up with our caravan.
Yep, we're meeting up in the caravan in Washington State.
Yeah.
So that's not quite as far away as going from Florida, but it's darn near the other edge of the continent here to getting to the other edge of the continent. So Doggy's gonna hate it. But
Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. We highly recommend 89, and we hope you get the opportunity to go see it for yourself.
absolutely. It's a great road. I think it's as good as or better than any route in the country. Put
And
on your
we
list
will
of-
get to 66. We haven't done 66, but we're going to do it.
Yeah, eventually.
Yep, we'll get
Yeah.
there.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.